Okay, hello everyone and welcome to this Game Replay Shoutcast. I'm Yawning Angel, and with me today I've got Chrysertus, and we're bringing you a scrim play between Fnatic MSI and KDe Gaming. So obviously pretty much the two best European teams around, and we should be looking to another one of their fantastic matchups. Seen quite a bit of these two teams in the past. I know that they both like to scrim a lot, so hopefully a fairly standard game to us. Magix isn't playing for KDE, neither is Mania, obviously that big acquisition we haven't heard too much from recently, the third MYM player we were all hoping to see playing for KDE. Instead, I think we've actually got Mind the Gap coming out. Not someone I've personally seen, so just a ringer for KDE, but judging by the stats as you can, 78% win rate. Guess that could be someone on an ult, but at any rate, obviously pretty handy in pubs at least, so should be looking forward to a good performance from him in this game. Playing for KDE, I would hope so. So aside from that, obviously both of these teams playing in the recent Honcast Invitational. KDE, bit of an upset though, losing 2-0 against DWI. Did you see that game at all?
Yeah, I did. It was a pretty interesting game, but you could actually notice that KDE had some, stress issue. I mean, they were playing at 1 a.m. up to 3 a.m., so you can't expect someone to play their full game around that hour.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely, you do have a very good point there. I can't really think it's a bit unfair on KDE, expect them to come out with their best of that. Did a good job though. I don't think they look like they're having a few server issues, but then they were against DWI. Have Slicks who plays with 400 ping, so can't really cry too much.
Slicks didn't actually play.
Okay, that would explain a lot, but yeah. I mean, DWI do have some ping issues because they've got players from Australia and US West, but at any rate, they do. I mean, KDE, they gave a good account of themselves, but I can't complain too much because I am, or was, before I betted all on Load versus TSM, I was the Gossy Bet leader for having won that, so I can't really complain too much, I guess. But yeah, definitely a bit of an upset for KDE there, and hopefully they'll be looking to try and get themselves back in form after that loss, prove to everyone in the community that, well, essentially that they're not out there running yet. Okay, so banned so far: Swiftblade, Glacius, Soul Reaper, Plague Rider, Accursed. Fairly standard. Obviously, the two that stand out are obviously, firstly, Hellbringer isn't banned. Secondly, Glacius and Swiftblade are. Penny for your thoughts on that? I mean, I can definitely see a Glacius ban because he is currently the #1 most picked hero in the game. Obviously, he's a brilliant early game roamer. We've seen that both in HON and in ESWC, the big Dota tournament, and his aura is brilliant. But I don't know, banning him, what do you think?
I don't know. I guess it's mostly out of don't want to ban something like a Hellbringer or Soul Stealer or Forsaken Archer. Perhaps they want to leave those on the field, so they decide to just go with a ban on Glacius.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon it was probably just Hanny, obviously doing the bans for KD here. They've got the second pick, and they figure it's not necessarily part of any specific strategic intention. They're just taking Glacius off the field because he's such a good hero. Final ban of Fade, since she's pretty much a perma ban along with a Cursed, so Hatley, they're doing the sensible thing, really. He's actually, surprisingly, he wasn't the one that banned a Curse. That was actually Fresh Pro from MSI. Quite surprising to see the first pick team banning a Curse. He's normally a perma ban, and it's normally left to the second pick team to really have to do that. But not going that, might well expect to see a Hellbringer first pick from Fresh Pro. I don't know what you personally would look to be having with these set of bans. What you'd be picking up first?
I don't know. Perhaps they'll go with a Madman. He's been really popular lately, but hasn't hit the banning places yet, so.
I think I've seen first pick from Fresh Pro Madman. You called it absolutely correctly, but yeah, I think I've seen one. I think I've seen him.
That's pretty lucky from me.
I hate you, but no. Moving onwards from that, I'm pretty sure I've seen him being banned once against Load. Can't remember who.
Yeah, game 2 EMPR, I think.
Yeah, but he was. I mean, he's definitely been really good. It's interesting, the stun change, initially it was thought of as a nerf, but realistically, it just gives you so much more time to beat the hell out of someone that it's actually quite a nice change. But I think the big thing that's made him useful is actually the changes he received before that. I think people just discovered it now, because the Berserk change was massive, because you can get it early game, really turns him into more of an early game powerhouse, and also just generally, I think the mana easing that he received just makes it a little bit more useful. And obviously the other big thing is Glacius is a much more popular hero, and if you've got him being fueled by the Glacius aura, he can be really, really handy. Next pickups from KDE, Slither and Arachna. Again, fairly standard.
Standard picks, yeah.
They're both considered pretty high tier. They're also both pretty handy gankers, so if I had to make it cool about what KDe are doing, I would say they're looking to gank. Obviously, Madman, he does fit nicely into a ganking strategy as well, but he also looks to carry. In fact, I think, personally speaking, that is one of the big things I really like about Madman. You can play him really, really aggressively early game, and he's still a good hard carry. I don't know about you, but certainly that's what I really like about the hero.
Yeah, it's definitely, and especially when we have the metagame just switching to a ganking perspective, Madman just fits perfectly with it, and you can still fit in with a hard carry at the end. I mean, you can have the full ganking potential at the start and then still finish with a hard carry. You don't have to sacrifice a hard carry position for a ganker. You can have both in Madman, and that's just where he gets his popularity at the moment.
Yeah,
At least that's what I would figure anyway.
Yeah, it's really interesting because basically he gives you one of the best aspects of the heroes like Forsaken Archer and Soulstealer, in that he's useful early game, but he's also got lots and lots and lots of hard carry potential, so definitely a great, great hero. MSI really taking their time here. Got Forsaken Archer on the cards. Obviously, she did receive a nerf, but from what I've seen her, still very good. And Ducky playing Witch Slayer as well. So again, really looking towards a ganking lineup for MSI. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. Well, actually, I am pretty sure how I feel about it. What interests me most is how they're going to be playing this Madman. In the old days of closed beta, we saw a lot of Madman solo mid because he's got pretty hefty rune control with his stalk. Doubt we'll see that now, just because essentially it's much, much harder to solo a melee mid. Has been ever since the creep AI change, but not sure. Presumably we'll see that for second archer mid. Do you reckon they'll be laning him with Witch Slayer, or do you think maybe someone like Demented Shaman or Hellbringer, who still hasn't been picked up?
Well, I don't know. I guess we can't really decide until we see the last picks. But there is one thing about MSI that I'm actually pretty happy about. I mean, Witch Slayer is seeing a lot more game recently. He's very popular in Dota, especially among teams like eHome. But it's really nice to see him come into the Han metagame, especially after being, well, dusted off for quite a while.
Well, to be honest with you, I think it's more the fact he was underappreciated than underpowered, because if you think about him, people were really excited when he was ported over because he is such a great early game ganker. Assuming you skip Thigamy Jigamy Mana Drain, which most top players do, he's just really good at roaming the map early on and setting up those ganks. He can really make a mid lane's life horrible, and he fits nicely into a tri lane. Not that he's going to be used for that here by MSI, I don't think. Empire Gaming, really the only team that runs them, but he is a great, great ganker right from the off, and he scales quite nicely into the late game because he's still got those two hefty disables, so he works quite well, and he doesn't have the massive problem that some heroes do of dropping off hugely, because, well, they don't do it so much, but people like, say, Chipper, actually he's a bad example. Who do I really want to say? Someone like Pyromancer, he does have a bit of a problem in late game, in his nuke combo isn't anywhere near as threatening as it used to be, but a Witch Slayer, it's not so much a problem because he's got Miniaturize, which is a fantastic disable, and his Impale, no, that's not, it's called Impale, it's called Graveyard, is pretty hefty. That both sides got their lineups finalised now. Crusatus, what do you think about them?
I don't know. The Andromeda pick strikes me as a bit of an odd pick, but perhaps they want to put her roaming while Ragna has, you know, an on and off solo lane, so she can get more farm. I'm not exactly sure. That's what really stands out from KDe. We've seen Honey play Thunderbringer before as well, and he plays a damn decent Thunderbringer, so couldn't find something pretty good to watch about it. As far as MSI goes, it's Madman just is the one that really stands out. Puppet Master perhaps, but he's overall an underappreciated hero these days.
To be honest, I'm actually going to disagree with you here. I don't like the Thunderbringer last pick. I mean, fair enough, you get Arachna and Andromeda lane, which is, I guess, decent. You just abuse the hell out of auras to give Arachna. I think they stack. I'm pretty sure they stack, but I'm not 100%.
They do.
Okay,
Moon Queen does also stacks as well,
yeah,
actually.
but basically you abuse the hell out of auras to give you really nasty auto-attack harassment, and obviously you've got that Comet. If anyone gets out of position, gets low, you can take them straight down. What I don't like is that leaves Kronos and Slither in a lane, simply because, firstly, I like to have Slither free to leave his lane and try to gank people early, and he can't really leave that Kronos to solo the lane doing it. Second problem with it, for me at least, is that Slither has fairly poor range for a ranged hero. Possibly, if he goes up against pretty much any of the ranged heroes on this MSI team, and there are 4 of them from Defined after all, he is going to get completely brutalized. He has to lane with Chronos because there's no real other lane configuration that this KDE team could